Good. I'm good. Run it. And it was at that moment I realized I had to run my own race. I'm gonna share a lot of stories with you about the good and the bad of my life. If you just want more out of life and you truly want to reach happiness and whatever it is that you're pursuing, this channel is for you. Welcome to Cscopes. Welcome back to Cscopes. I'm your host CJ Parvelis. And again, welcome to another week. Thank you guys for being so faithful. Thank you for being committed with me. So before we get started, you know what we gotta do. So this week we're gonna lay down the foundation. All right. So before we lay down the foundation, we're gonna go into the verse of the day, and we're gonna be in Matthew 6:33. I know a lot of y'all already know it, so you already know what I'm about to say. So Matthew 6:33 says, "But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things will be provided for you." And to be honest, like, that's really where the foundation lies, is in him. So, and that's why we had to, use this verse and to really set the tone for the rest of this episode as we lay the foundation. And when we talk about foundation, for me, I've always learned recently, not always, I've recently learned that it's really the four F's of life, right? And the reason why we have the four F's is because it's kind of like a table. Right? If you were in a household like mine's, that, our tables weren't always stable. So, one leg was always shorter than the other, and it was, if you hit one corner, then the table shakes. So you really couldn't put anything fragile on there. And I'll be honest with y'all, I still got one of those tables in my house today. So, and it reminds me that to always work on every area of your life to stabilize that table. Now, when the table is all legs even, perfect, that's a pretty table. Like, there's no shake, there's no rock, it's stable. And that's the same thing in our lives, right? So for me, it's really the four F's. The first F is gonna be family. Okay. Um, for a lot of y'all, you guys, appreciate your family. You love your family, right? And I appreciate that you do as well. But I didn't grow up very family oriented. I have a pretty big family though, but to be honest with you, I never really grew up, very close to my family. So that is an area of my life that I had to get right, that I had to work on, and I'm working on it till today, each and every day. Spending time with my mom, spending time with, some of my other loved ones, my brother, getting close with them and doing holidays with them. So that's something that's I've been working on. So if you're somebody that's very family oriented, shout out to you. That's a strong area for you, and you're gonna keep that going. And once you get married, um, you're gonna have the same mentality with that family. So, and creating that family bond. So that's awesome. That's the first F. The second F is finances. And to be honest, that's an area that created a lot of stress for a lot of people and a lot of us, right? Because, a lot of this stuff in this world, costs money. And if you was raised like I was and you didn't come from money and you wasn't taught proper and, healthy relationship with money and how to make your money make money, um, that's an area of stress that causes a lot of stress in our lives, in our relationships, right? It affects the quality of life that we can have for ourselves. And that's why a lot of us go into credit card debt, because we realize that, we're not making enough, or we feel like we're not making enough. That's very important. We feel like we're not making enough, and we have to, substitute that, with credit cards and this and loans and things like that. So, and, that's an area that really allowed me to become passionate about becoming a personal financial coach, because I really want to help people in this area, right? To relearn and to restructure your relationship with money. Number three is fitness. All right. So if you're somebody like me, you're in the gym right now, shout out to you. All right. I know this the common thing is every new year everybody get in the gym, and then by January 15th everybody's out of the gym, right? I've been there, trust me, and I was a former Division I athlete, and I realized, like, my fitness, journey now is not the same as it was when I was on a team. I was so used to that, camaraderie with my teammates, and now to be able to be on my own and to just work out on my own. And it's been a struggle, but I'm progressing, and that's the only thing you can do is progress and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. But I would say fitness is not just physical. Fitness is emotional fit. What's your emotional fitness? What's your mental fitness? Right? What's your spiritual fitness? Right? Like, are you leveled in these areas to be able to be okay with yourself? Because for a lot of us, even myself, like that can affect our confidence. That can affect how we feel about ourselves when we feel like we're letting our bodies go. And one of the things I've learned is that really pushed me to keep going, even though I'm very consistent with being inconsistent, is if I'm not committed to me, why should anybody else be? If I'm not committed to my body, to my health and my fitness, why should anybody else do it, right? So that's something that I always keep in front of my mind. And even when I fall off, it's like, all right, at some point we got to get back. At some point we got to get back in the gym and, figure it out. Because one thing I won't do, I don't care what anybody tell me, I will never let my body go. It's just not in my genetic makeup. So even when I'm in a relationship, like, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm just not willing to allow myself to let my body go, because you know, I love to look good. I love to feel good. So that goes with when I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Like, if I don't like what I see, oh, we gotta fix that. All right, we gotta fix that tomorrow. Okay. Um, and then the last one, number 4, is faith. And I would say that this one is probably the most important, just because if you have a foundation of faith, everything else will work itself out, right? If you have a foundation of faith to know that if you get on a budget and stay disciplined in your budgeting, right, you're gonna get better with your finances. If you didn't have the faith to stay on a budget, you're gonna get better with your finances. If you get in the gym and you go 3 to 4 to 5 times a week and you're changing up your diet and you're changing up your lifestyle and having the faith that your fitness will get better, over time, right? Same thing with your family. If have those tough conversations with your family and you're spending time with your family and doing those little things each and every day, spending holidays with them, and having the faith that your family dynamic will get better in the future. So faith is very powerful because it works everything else out, and that's why we have the verse of the day: seek first his kingdom, because if you seek him first and put him in the center of your life, everything else will work itself out. And I am a very big testament of that. The moment I put God first, my life started getting better in every area, and I can honestly start to choose to be happy each and every day, because I know that I don't have to stress. Everything is okay. Everything's gonna work itself out, and just have the faith that as long as I do my part, the results will come down the line. All right. So how can you know if what area you lack at? Honestly, it's really about looking at your circle. What do you envy about other people? If you're envying that somebody else is making more money and doing better in their finances, that's probably because you think that you're not doing well in your own finances. So you envy that person and you're jealous of that person. And that's okay. Just get on the budget and get right. All right. If you're envious of people, certain holidays, everybody's posting family pictures on Instagram. Like, your whole feed is all family. They matching pajamas. They're looking all cute. All right. Like, that just means that you know that you need to work on your family dynamic so you can be able to, do the same thing with your own family. So, same thing with your fitness. If you envious of, your girlfriend or your homeboy that looks good and you like, man, like, I wish I had a body like you. Well, it's probably because you know that you need to put in more work in the area of fitness, whether it's emotional, physical or spiritual. Um, and if, you worry a lot on a day to day, it's probably because your faith's not strong enough. All right. And you need to get in your word and start, developing, find a group, find a community, find a church, and to start working on your faith each and every day, because it will get better. All right. So that's all for the foundation of the 4 F's. We're gonna go into this week's segment of BYOB. All right, build your own bank, and I'm gonna help y'all this week, starting this week, So go check that out. All right, y'all. Welcome to this week's segment of BYOB. Listen, I got 4 points for y'all. We're going to run through them. It's really about the mindset around money. All right, listen, I got 4 points. Make sure you got your notes ready. I'm going to run through them. All right, the first one, money needs direction. All right, when you work so hard for your money, make sure you're on a budget and telling you every dollar where it's going. All right, because if you don't, it will leave your pocket and you won't know, and then you're going to feel like you're broke. All right, so money needs direction. That's number one. Number two, cut emotional spending. If you're sad, stay away from your phone. Stop getting on Amazon. Stop getting on Fashion Nova, and buying all this stuff that you really don't need because you're in your feelings. All right, be disciplined with your money. Stay focused on the goal that you have, and just don't spend money that you didn't plan for either. All right, number three, money is personal, not a relative. And what I mean by that is money is personal to you, right? Like, stop comparing yourself to other people that's not in your shoes, right? Stay locked in on you, put your blinders on, and stay locked in on what you're doing, because not everybody knows where you're going. Not everybody has the same drive that you got. Not everybody got the same goals that you got. All right, money is personal to you, and stop comparing to other people. Number four, change your money talk. Stop telling yourself you're broke. Stop telling yourself you don't got it. Stop telling yourself, you're poor. You're not poor. All right. If you're telling yourself you're broke, you will stay broke. If you're telling yourself you just don't have money, you'll never have money. Change your money talk. Have faith talk. If you don't got it, hey, I'm just gonna have it right now. Change your language. You don't got it right now, but you will have it in the future. All right. So change your money talk, and you will reap everything that you're saying, because the tongue is powerful. All right, that's the 4 points for BYOB. Again, we're gonna start with mindset, because everything starts with a mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, you don't got nothing. All right, so let's get back to the show. Again, thank you for coming to this segment of BYOB. Love y'all. All right, y'all, welcome back to the show. I hope that this week's segment of BYOB really can bless you. Again, everything starts with a mindset, so make sure you're applying these things. And if you need help, reach out to me. I got you. To help you customize a plan for you to, help you out in your finances, so we can build your own bank to do whatever you want to do. So now we're going to get some principles. This is the principles of the brand. This is what we lean on. Like, for you, I know you got your own principles that you stand on, that you lean on, that you die on, because it's what makes you you. Like, it builds your character, and everybody based on your principles will know who you are and what you stand for and what you're about. So for Cscopes, we have the same thing. All right. The first one, generosity. Man, it's a beautiful thing what it looks like to be generous. And I know you're already thinking like, CJ, I don't got money. I was like, listen, generosity doesn't always have to be money. Sometimes you can be generous with your time. You can be generous with your energy. You can be generous with your information. Like, how freely are you willing to share some of the things that you know or you learn? Or how freely are you willing to give up your time to serve somebody, right? Or to serve, for an event or anything like that. So, if you're like, well, I don't have time to give. Okay, I'm with you. Like, I'm busy too, but it's not I've learned that it's really not about having time. It's about making time. And if you're somebody that's saying that, I get it. I used to say the same things as well, right? But if you're so busy telling yourself you don't have the time, then don't be mad when somebody is not giving you time as well on the back end, right? You're sowing that seed of not being generous. Well, you're gonna reap the benefit of not receiving generosity in return. So I just want you to really be careful with that when you say that. So generosity is a really big thing for me. One of the things that I do in my budget is I allocate certain funds, not just for my tithe and my church, but also just random acts of kindness that I want to do on every month, whether it's, through a family, through a friend, or to a stranger out in the street. So, but when you budget for it, it doesn't break your pockets and you don't stress out about it. So, number two, fun. We gotta have fun in everything that we're doing. I think, life is tough enough as it is. And you can go through life and stress out or do all those things because things are not working out in your favor. And I totally understand that. But again, it's not about your desire, it's about his will, and that's the goal, right? So if you're the only reason why you're frustrated is because it's not happening the way you want it to happen, but it's gonna happen the way he wants it to happen. So I really want you to really remember that. So some of the things I hear around people not having fun is, CJ, this job is boring. How am I supposed to have fun? Listen, I used to do DoorDash, in rideshare services, and I used to have a lot of fun with them. And those jobs are not fun. They are not glamorous. They're trash. All right. But it was a real grind. But in the process, I used to find little ways to have fun, whether it's seeing how fast I can get things done, or messing with people on the street, or bumping music, right? I'm focusing on the right things that's going to help me get through the time, because it's like, look, if it's already miserable, why stay in the misery? Focus your mind on something else, and the time's gonna go by fast. What's the old saying? Like, time flies when you're having fun. That's really what it is, right? When you're having fun and you make it fun, man, you're gonna realize, like, whoa, it's time to go, right? My time's up. So that's for my, people that have those jobs that you really don't like. I'm really praying for you, but find ways to have fun with it. If you're parents out there, you're like, man, these kids are bad. Like, I can't have fun with these kids. They don't listen. They just jumping all over the place. They're a headache. Hey, one thing I want to remind you is those kids are you. All right. Those kids are really an emphasis of who you are as a parent. Cause you probably was the same way when you was a kid. That's like, it's so funny. Like, when I see my daughter being bad, I laugh, because I'm like, well, I used to be like that. So it's like, why am I going to punish her? Or why am I going to be stressed out when I know that she's just genuinely being and authentically being who she's supposed to be, which is, one, a child, and two, the makeup between me and the mother, right? So have fun with your kids, man. They're literally you. So change up your mindset and how you look at your kids, and maybe things will change in your household. So another thing I hear from all my hustlers out there, I'm grinding. I don't have time to have fun. That's cool. But no grind is that boring, bro. Like, you really can have fun in your grind. Like, I grind too. All right. Like, I'm working on this. I got other companies I'm working on. I'm in real estate. Like, it's a grind, bro, but I'm having fun in the process, because why not? Like, it's supposed to be fun. When you're out here doing things that matter, it's supposed to be fun. So I really encourage you to have fun with it. Number 3, integrity. I might step on some toes with this one. Integrity, man. Like, what are you doing behind closed doors when no one's watching, right? Like, are you really making the right decisions that's going to show your character? Because at the end of the day, it may not seem like anyone's watching, but he's watching, and he's going to see the seed that you're planting. So now when you get into your next season and you're going through a season of struggle or misery, well, you planted that seed. So why are you mad, right? For all my fellas out there, let me talk to you real quick, man. Like, so are you taking advantage of women when they're vulnerable? Like, what does that show about your character, right? Like, you really, come on, fellas, we gotta do better in this world. We really have to do better, because it's just not, come on, like, would you want your son to do that? Right? Like, would you want your kids to act the way you're acting? And that's something that I have to ask myself every day, because, I have a daughter, like, you know what I'm saying? So, fellas, we gotta do better. I really want to challenge y'all as men, as leaders. Let's be better in our integrity. Ladies, you're not exempt. Come on. You're not exempt. All right. I want to ask y'all, man, something I've been hearing. I hear this a lot. When y'all going out on dates, listen, dating is trash. I get it. But when y'all going out on dates, I just want to ask you, are you going on a date because you truly like them, or because you're just bored and you want a female? It's okay to log off. I know some of y'all probably log off. It's cool. But this is stuff I hear, so let's talk about it. Let's be honest about it. Like, I get it. You may not know if you like them until the date, but sometimes y'all already know. Or sometimes y'all not even in a position or in the space to even want to talk to anybody. So it's like, why are you going out on a date? right? Like, why are we going on a date when we're not even gonna take it seriously and you know he wants to, right? So y'all not exempt, man. I just want to talk to y'all. I just want to challenge y'all because what does that say about you as a woman, right? And if you believe in a man of God, you gotta be a woman of God. So you gotta, you know, work in your integrity. All right. Number 4, courage. Woo, courage for my relationship, folks. Listen, this is something that I see a lot of. You know, when you're in a relationship, you don't want to hurt that person's feelings. You know, I get it, but you gotta have courage to say what's real, right? Are you holding your tongue when you know something's really bothering you, and then be mad because you dealt with it for so long, right? And now you traumatized and hurt, and you're gonna blame him for the hurt when you have probably kickstarted it because you didn't have the courage to say something in the beginning. Like, do you have courage, right? For all my hustlers, and I know you in this 9 to 5 and you hate it. Do you have courage to jump? This is a big thing in our world, man. A lot of people are scared to jump and go pursue whatever their dream is because they're like, what if, what if, what if? Well, what if it did work out? You saying, what if it don't? It's like, what if it did though, right? Did we actually consider that? But it takes courage to actually make the decision to jump, right? So courage, man. You gotta have courage. But the thing about courage is you gotta have courage in the small things so you can build that muscle to have courage in the bigger things. But if you let the small things slide, you're basically not working that muscle. And then when the big things happen, you really can't have the courage to say anything. But then you sit here and you market yourself as, oh, I'm a real one. I'm a real this. I'm a real that. No, you're not. Because when it gets real and you gotta talk about what's real and what's really bothering you in your relationships, you can't even do it. And it's okay. Like, I was there and I still work on my courage each and every day. But it has to be an intentional focus though. You know what I mean? So courage, man. We're going to dive into this so much deeper into this season, man. Number 5, humility. 2020 was a humble year for me, man. Like, I'm trying to tell y'all, it was one of the most humblest year for a lot of us, honestly. But for me personally, I was working in 2020. I came out of grad school in 2020 because COVID happened like while I was in grad school. So when I came out, man, I had 2 degrees and I could not work. I couldn't work. And you're like, wait, why couldn't you work? The life of an immigrant. When you don't got your papers, you're limited in this world. All right. And I had to be humbled, man. I was homeless. I was bouncing around from couch to couch to homes and just asking for people, hey, man, let me stay in your closet. Let me stay here. Let me stay there. And I grew up in a very prideful home. So, being able to ask that person for a favor, that was tough for me, man. But I had to get stripped of my pride and really be humbled so that way I can move into the next season and appreciate everything I got. And I'm so thankful I was able to embrace it because then fast forward 2021, things just been happening. Like, life's just been moving, dog. I'm trying to tell you. But if you don't learn what you need to learn in your season and learn and embrace humility, and it's okay to, stay prideful. Like, you gotta have pride in your appearance. I get it. Like, healthy pride is good. But when you were too prideful to ask for help or to lean in or to do whatever, you're just hurting yourself at the end of the day. But then you're telling yourself, oh, I'm lonely. I don't got nobody. Well, you did. You just pushed them away. Right? Like, oh, no one wants to help me. You ain't ask for help. A closed mouth don't get fed, right? So humility, man, is so, so key with everything that you're doing when you're going to, get the life that you want. Number 6 is love. Man, ever since I moved down here to Tampa, I've been learning love in such a different space just because it's so much deeper than what we think it is. And for me personally, I didn't grow up learning what unconditional love was, right? Like, a lot of the love I received was very conditional. And sometimes, you're probably like me and I'm with you. or you probably not, and that's okay. Like if you learn unconditional love, shout out to you, right? I'm rooting for you. But for me, when I understood what love really means, like in First Corinthians it says, love is kind, love is patient, it does not envy, it does not boast, it does not keep record of wrongs. That's the line that kills me every time. Like, cause a lot of us are just playing, tit for tat, and it's an eye for an eye until we all blind, right? Like, what we doing? So love is really, really a powerful thing because it always perseveres at the end of the day. I'll tell y'all a story, man. When I was homeless, I was staying with my daughter's mother for a little bit when she was born, just to be there. Again, I didn't have anywhere to stay, so I just wanted to be there to help out on a day to day. And something happened. We got into an argument, and she kicked me out of the crib. Now I'm literally at rock bottom. Like I'm on the street, right? And I took that to the chin. It was whatever. A lot of people don't even know the story. But then fast forward, she was moving out her spot to go into, her apartment. And I did not only help out, but I called out my boys to come help her. I brought her a team. Like she didn't really lift a finger, bro. So it's like, man, how could you do that if she had to kick you out when she knows you had nowhere to go? Love. Because at the end of the day, she's my daughter's mother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I looked at it as I was doing this for my daughter. You know what I mean? So, but at the end of the day, it's like when I sowed that seed of acting that way, because the one thing that really helped me was, what would Jesus do? That's the question I always ask myself, man. Because when she asked me for that, I was like, what would Jesus do? And that was something that really helped me, in my spirit to be like, okay, let me do this. And not only do it just helping, but get a team. Like, let me just do it times 10, right? And sowing that seed, that's why in 2020, 2022, things just been happening. And you can't tell me it wasn't because of that seed that I planted, right? So it's like, what seed are you planting? Right? Where are you planting it? How are you planting your seeds? Right? Because you're going to reap the reward, whether it's good or bad. Like you're going to reap something, but you don't know where you're going to reap it or how you're going to reap it. But it's like, you guys sow those seeds anyways. Just be careful how you sow your seeds, player. Like, stop taking advantage of people, love people, right? So that's a very powerful one. Stewardship. And the one thing I'll say about stewardship, man, plain and simple. If you can't handle what you currently have, why should you expect more? It's simple as that. Like if you can't handle $40,000, $50,000 in your job, why should you expect 6 figures? If you can't handle, that relationship, why should you expect anything better? Right? If you can't handle being on your own, having your own spot, your own apartment, keeping it clean, all that stuff, why should you expect a house? It just don't make no sense. So stewardship, we're going to dive into all of these things in depth during the season. All right, y'all, that's it for the principles. Again, you gotta have your principles in life. What's your principle? All right, you may not have the same as mine, and that's okay. But what do you stand for? What do you believe in? Right? If it's not the 7 that I gave you, figure out what it is for you, because you're the brand. Like you're the brand. So figure out what you stand for. Make sure you got the 4 F's in alignment. Work on that faith, because it's gonna work out everything else. And make sure you stand firm on what you believe in. Stand firm on your principles, because that's who you are, right? Like people are going to basically judge you or label you based on what you show them. So if you have your principles, make sure you remember them and make sure you lean on them and make sure you live by them each and every day. All right. So now we're going to go into this week's segment of TTM #Talk to Me. And we're going to just talk to some of the people in the streets of Tampa and figure out and listen to how they're applying the message and how they're living it out. Go check that out.
Hey, my name is Sophia. I am here in Houston, Texas. What do? I am a Dean of Instruction at a secondary school here. And what does living life through my own scope mean to me? It means that I stay true to myself, who I feel God is calling me to be. It means saying no to opportunities that may seem wonderful, but don't really align to what he's placed in my heart to do, and seeking God to figure out what it is he wants me to do with my life. So that's what staying true to myself and staying true to my calling and seeing through my own scope means to me.
Good morning, good night, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lorenzo. I'm from Houston, Texas. You dig? I'm also a veteran, so thank you so much for your support. The message, living life through your own scope and not through your desires, but through His will. The way that I can use that in my life, I would have to break it down first. To me, the scope is your spirit, all right? And desires are just simple things that you be doing throughout life in order to make your life worse. So living life through His will, in order to get closer to Him, we must pray all the time. So the way that I will use this in my life is by praying all the time in order to get closer to God. That way He can edify my spirit. That way I'm living life through my real scope and not through my own desires.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the show, man. Those people share some gems. I'm really excited to see how people are internalizing this message because it's really powerful, man. So again, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you for staying committed with me. Thank you for staying with me. And just continue to go on this journey with me, man. We're going to hash these things out and go and dive deeper with each episode. So just stay committed with me because I'm staying committed to you. All right. So make sure, again, go live your life through your own scope, not by your desires, but by His will. Get in alignment, and you'll have the courage and you'll have the confidence to choose happiness and to be happy with and reaching your purpose in life, right? That's what it's about. Finding your purpose and reaching that purpose and being fulfilled in that journey. So that's it for this week. I love you guys. I'll see you next week.